The doctor asked me what happened. I lied to him. I said that I had smashed it. I didn't want to disclose that it had been misheard, that it had thrown a vodka bottle at me and then took my finger off.
He's got a bottle in his hand, and he threw it at me. It missed. I don't know how much time passed, but at some point he had a broken bottle up against my face, neck area by my jawline, and just in my head instantly think of Kate Moss and the stairs, and I swung at him.
Amber Heard has been exposed for lying again. She's changed her story about Johnny's finger 4 times. At this point, we've all heard of the infamous severed finger incident between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard multiple times. And depending on who you believe, there are various different accounts of how things went down in Australia, where Johnny lost the tip of his middle finger. But if you look into it, you'll be shocked to find out that Amber Heard has not stuck to one statement when it comes to that incident.
Amber Heard is simply just not credible. March 8th was a very unforgettable day. Depp lost the tip of his finger. She's claiming that he sexually assaulted her, but for some reason she doesn't remember anything but the sexual assault.
She's changed the story of how Johnny's finger was cut many times, and it's finally been exposed this time around. But how has her statement shifted over the years? Let's find out in this video. Let's start with what the two ex-partners have each said regarding the incident in the latest trial of 2022 and move backward in time from there. Mr. Depp testified about the alleged incident during his own turn as a witness last month. Mr. Depp alleged that Ms. Heard became irate during a discussion about a post-nuptial agreement. She could not let go of the fact that I was in on this post-nup agreement and that I was trying to trick her into essentially getting nothing if something were to happen, Mr. Depp said. Asked how his finger became injured, Mr. Depp said, "I went behind the bar, I grabbed a bottle of vodka that was there and a shot glass," he said. Mr. Depp said he poured himself 2 or 3 stiff shots of vodka, which were the first taste of alcohol he'd had in a long time. He alleged that Ms. Heard, having found him at the bar, started screaming at him about his drinking. Mr. Depp said he grabbed another bottle, poured himself a shot, and drank it. He alleged that Ms. Heard was flinging insults at him and grabbed that bottle and threw it at him. He alleged that the bottle made contact with him and shattered everywhere. "I didn't feel the pain at first at all," he said. "I felt no pain whatsoever. I felt heat, and I felt as if something were dripping down my hand. And then I looked down and realized that the tip of my finger had been severed, and I was looking directly at my bones sticking out." Mr. Depp said blood was just pouring out. "I think that I went into some sort of, I don't know what a nervous breakdown feels like, but that's probably the closest that I've ever been," he said. Mr. Depp said that he called his doctor and told him, "You might want to come over. I've cut my finger off here." Johnny Depp's statement over the years has remained clear and consistent with no changes in the events. However, if we take a deeper look into Amber's version of events, we will see many inconsistencies and contradictions. Let's begin with the most recent statement. Ms. Heard was asked about the incident, which allegedly took place in March of 2015 on her second day of testimony. Ms. Heard said Mr. Depp was very upset about her working with Eddie Redmayne on The Danish Girl and other actors. She recounted a belligerent interaction with Mr. Depp that made her realize the arrows were pointed at her again. A physical altercation began, during which Ms. Heard said Mr. Depp slams me against the wall hard and called her names. At one point, Ms. Heard said Mr. Depp threw her into a ping pong table, got on top of her, and whacked her in the face repeatedly. Ms. Heard was visibly distressed as she continued her testimony. She said Mr. Depp struck her in a manner that sent her down to the ground, and that when she got up, Mr. Depp threw a bottle in her direction. She said at one point he had a broken bottle up next to her face and neck and told her he would carve up her face.
She mentioned, you would always have a bind here.
She said Mr. Depp ripped her nightgown off her chest and that the nightgown was eventually ripped off completely, leaving her naked. She alleged that Mr. Depp started punching the wall next to her head and holding her by the neck. At some point, she said Mr. Depp ended up on top of her, telling her she'd ruin his effing life. "I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get through to him. I couldn't get up," she said. "I don't know how that ended. I don't know how. I don't know what happened next." Ms. Heard sobbed as she continued. The next thing I remember, I was bent over backwards on the bar, meaning my chest was up. I was staring at the blue light. My back was on the countertop, and I thought he was punching me. I felt this pressure on my pubic bone. I thought he was punching me. I could feel his arm moving, and it looked like he was punching me, but I could just feel this pressure. Ms. Heard said she took sleeping pills and woke up to find Mr. Depp missing a finger. He kind of held it up, she said, and I said, "What did you do? When?" And I realized in my head that there had been many hours since this probably happened. Ms. Heard suggested the cut might have occurred when she said Mr. Depp smashed up a phone earlier. This is not what Heard said back in 2020 during the UK trial when Johnny sued the Sun newspaper. Back then, Heard claimed that her husband inflicted a 3-day ordeal of physical assault that left her with a broken lip, swollen nose, and cuts all over her body. This resulted in her retaliating in self-defense, which resulted in Johnny's cut finger. But this was disproved by Depp's bodyguard for 16 years, Malcolm Connolly. Connolly, who had arrived at the fight scene with another security guard, said that they also saw a mark on the Pirates of the Caribbean star where he told them Amber had put out a cigarette on his face. Connolly insisted in his statement that Heard's account bore no resemblance to his recollection and said the actress did not have any marks on her face or arm.
I could hear Amber, screaming,
He said the Hollywood couple was screaming at each other and he made Depp leave with him in the car to get help. In between this time and 2016-2017, when the news recently broke, there were many versions of the incident described by Heard in depositions and witness statements, where she claimed that Depp had a nervous breakdown and during a rage of fit cut himself off. One account of the story, fabricated by Amber, stated that the Edward Scissorhands star cut off the tip of his middle digit in a jealous, drug-fueled rage, and then used the bloody stump to scrawl the names of the leading men he accused his wife, Amber Heard, of betting on the walls of an Australian villa. In a slightly different version of basically the same fictional story, Amber said that the roguish Pirates of the Caribbean veteran even dipped the severed finger in blue paint to complete his handiwork, which included the accusation starring Billy Bob Easy Amber, written on an ornate mirror referring to Billy Bob Thornton. According to her, he was super high. He consumed an entire bag's worth of ecstasy. He was taking coke, smoking weed, and drinking red wine. He was so high he couldn't feel anything and was writing all over the walls in blood and paint. Depp mutilated himself after smashing several bottles and windows, then bashed a telephone against the wall so hard that it sheared a piece of plastic off the phone that cut off the end of his finger. There is no hard evidence to prove any of these lies, and the public has caught on to Amber. In a series of tweets, a Twitter user has shared an in-depth look into Amber's lies pertaining to this incident. The first tweet reads, "After endless digging, I've discovered that Amber Heard changed her story 4 times in regards to what happened to Johnny Depp's finger, including what looks to possibly be perjury. I'm compiling the evidence now and will post it in an all-new doc this Friday. It's chilling." This was followed by another tweet and the link to her YouTube video. After digging through endless court documents and testimony, I uncovered 5 times Amber Heard lied under oath about exactly what happened to Johnny Depp's finger in Australia. Watching the deep dive here. The fact that Amber Heard changed the ending of the statement that encourages bullying and mocks substance abuse shows how dirty she plays. The crazy sociopath just couldn't help herself that she changed the statement to bully Johnny Depp. Pathetic, wrote another user. That's it from our side. Now we want to know what you feel regarding Amber's lies. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more updates.